So, utilitarianism and guns. Two very fun topics. Utilitarianism is actually kind of fun. I like to talk about it with my friend who is not in this class. Anyways, so UT Tyler's president has found a provision that would allow public universities to ban concealed handguns when 90% of the faculty votes to do so. Wow, 90% is kind of a lot. According to utilitarianism, should he exercise this provision and call a faculty vote? Kind of, but not really. Because faculty is not all there is to the campus community. And utilitarianism is about the greatest pleasure for the greatest amount of people. And this vote would only take into account this one small amount of people. And that's not utilitarianism. It's just kind of not. So this fancy vote would affect students, faculty, and even like visitors, which would be friends and family, tour groups, people like that, activity groups too. Like there was this group of like little kids here the other day. They were all wearing matching shirts. I'm not really sure what they were doing, but I think they were too young to be a regular tour group, so like elementary kids. But visitors would be people like that. And this would affect them too, because, you know, if there are guns or there are not guns, that's going to affect them. Like, they can't have their gun, or they're being exposed to guns and they'd rather not, things like that. So the vote of a vote is a good idea, because for utilitarianism, you want to make sure you're getting that like greatest amount of pleasure for the greatest amount of people, and a vote allows you to know how the most people feel about this one thing. So like a vote's a pretty good idea for the topic if you want to know, but it's like the faculty vote would only tell you how the faculty feel. And if you ban handguns based on 90% of the faculty voting to do so, that isn't utilitarianism, because it isn't taking into account all affected parties. Maybe 90% of the faculty votes to ban handguns because, I don't know, you managed to find the one place in Texas where you have 90% of faculty that doesn't like guns, and then the majority of the students are upset because suddenly they can't have their guns. And then, you know, they've got their pleasure, the faculty, but the students, they don't have pleasure. So it's like you don't have that greatest amount of pleasure for the greatest amount of people that utilitarianism calls for. So to determine what course of action would lead to the greatest amount of net pleasure, you need to take into account all the faculty and students, and if you can, even like regular visitors. Like if you can even get them in on a survey or something of some sort, because they're also coming onto campus. So it's like, you know, it's important to remember that faculty are not the only part of the campus community that have feelings on the matter. Yeah, wow, that's 90%'s a lot. So the vote's a good idea, but just the faculty votes, it's not very utilitarianism.